Coming up in this episode. What's going on, guys, and thank you for tuning in to another video. This video pretty much picks up where the last one left off, where we got all the walnut blasting done, injectors cleaned with JBM. So if you haven't watched that video, then make sure to click the link up here and go and catch up with that, because that'll get you up to speed. Now, since the last video, not a lot has happened with the car. I've really not touched it. I've just been dailying it to and from work. So there's not really much else to report, to be honest. We have developed a pretty bad knock from the front suspension, which JBM, or the lads at JBM, are going to investigate. And then he's just going to go ahead and they're going to do a full health check on the car, which is basically a pre-mapping health check, just to make sure that everything is okay, nothing's going to blow up on the dyno, and the car is safe to be running the extra power. So it is Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to go and drop the car off with him now, and he can start the work tomorrow morning. They have very kindly offered to do a couple of videos just doing the health check and showing what's going on, the kind of process that they take to make sure the car is ready for mapping. And then they're going to let me know when I can come down and we'll have some fun on the dyno. But there's not really much else to report, to be honest, so we'll cut to those few clips and the lads can show you exactly what they're looking at, and then we'll get some dyno done. So yeah, see you in a bit. But little did I know, all was not well with the GTI. Here's Joe to explain why.
Right then, lads, just a quick explanation of how the cam timing system. So in here we've got a camshaft adjuster pulley, which is fed with oil pressure via this little solenoid here, and that advances or retards the timing on the intake camshaft, which is on this side. So when the chain stretches, it does have some adaptations for it, which is what's known as the phase position on these. You can get this on VCDS Group 91, which is just down there. And we've already cleared the fault codes on this, which is why the phase position section is blank. Over time that will actually adapt itself and give you a figure if it's within spec. However, this one is approximately 10 degrees off, as you can see by the camshaft adjustment, what it's asking for, and the camshaft adjustment, what it's getting. Approximately 10 degrees between it. Oh, brilliant, we did actually get a photo of that. So as you can see there, phase position 10 degrees. So hopefully this should just be a case of replacing the timing chain and tensioner, and we'll check the adjuster and the little oil control rings inside it for wear and see if we can get that back within spec.
Some hard work later.
Afternoon, sports fans. So we finally got this stripped down. Chain off and the camshaft adjuster pulley, which normally lives on there. They have identified the issue. Come with me. Obviously the chain is stretched as always because it's not been changed yet. However, the main cause of the problems was the oil control rings, which live on here. These little plastic things. There's two. The centre one, however, is not there, and that's because it's broken up into 3 pieces, which we've managed to rescue, fortunately. These go brittle over time. Sometimes they are made out of plastic. They sit inside here on the 3 lines where you can see, and that diverts the oil pressure inside this pulley, which advances or retards the timing accordingly. So yeah, new set of oil control rings, chain and tensioner, should be good to go.
Then some more hard work went on.
So we've done the cam timing, replaced the chain tensioner, the oil control rings that were broken. That's all lovely and nice now. However, still a problem with the timing when you look at it with VCDS. Still approximately 10 degrees out. So we'll move on to the belt timing and have a look at this instead. Now it's quite difficult to see on the video. However, down there is a little marking which marks TDC for the crank. There's a little arrow, and where the pen mark is on the crank pulley, you can see that's lined up correct. However, you come up to the cam shaft, you can see it is 1 tooth out. So that is going to be what's causing all of our problems. So we'll get that corrected and try again.
A little murky. Some say it was made in Taiwan, some in China, some in Chinese restaurants in America. I have fabulous memories of this dish growing.
song for broken hearted.
So I've just pulled up at JBM. Honestly, I am so excited. It feels like 2 years worth of car ownership and modding and maintenance has led up to this point. So without further ado, let's go, let's see the car and let's get it on the dyno. Let's get it up to stage 2 and yeah, let's do it. There she is. So on the last video, we obviously had the walnut blasting done, the injectors are cleaned. And then when I dropped it off with Joe and Jack this time, we have found the cam timings slightly out still.
Yeah, a few issues with the cam timing. The chain stretched a little bit, which obviously upsets these, but you measure that with VCDS on something called the phase position. You can normally see I think it's the specs within 4 degrees or so. Within that, it's good to go. If not, you start looking for issues. So found the chain issue and the oil control rings, corrected that, but unfortunately it's still out. So then we looked to the belt timing and we found the cam belt timing was actually 2000. Well, corrected that, now back to the spec where we should be, phase position 0 or close enough to it. So get it on the dyno and get going.
And so after all this time of car ownership, this is the moment I've finally been waiting for. I feel since owning this car I've always been chasing my tail with repairs, trying to get it running up to scratch, and now we're happy it's finally ready to be put on the dyno and make some power. So without further ado, Joe's just finishing off his calibrations and getting it up and running, and we're finally ready. So I've guessed that the car is going to run 194 stock. Joe's going for 190. Let's see what it runs at stock. Now I'm going to give you a second before showing you the results so you can have a guess yourselves. Let us know in the comments what you guessed, and whilst you're down there, don't forget to drop us a like and subscribe. So thanks, and here's the results. How we looking? How we looking? How we looking? So I'm just going to pause it here for a second. You can see just at the bottom of the screen here it made 202.7 brake horsepower. Now we did actually run it again and it came up at 203.8 brake horsepower, which is still very exciting and it's actually up on power from standard. But I forgot to record that and so, well, sorry. 202! So we're now in the car on the dyno. We've done the standard power run and obviously made 203.8 brake horsepower, which is 4 more than standard. We were both wrong. I said what? 190, Joe said. No, Joe said 190, I said 194, but we were both wrong. It is up on power, which is surprising. But Joe's been doing his jiggery pokery. We are now tuned up to, well, what I think is stage 2.
Stage 2 level, yeah.
With supporting mods, and we're going to see what it runs. So Joe did explain to me what's happening during the tuning session, and I did try to take most of it on board. So here's my interpretation of what's going on. So you can see on screen here you've got the fuel rail pressure and the boost pressure. As standard, we had a boost pressure of about 0.9 bar due to the decap. Now we want this to be about 1.3 to 1.4 bar with the supporting mods, because more boost equals more power. But in order to reach that stage, we need more fuel and more air. Because we've now got a bigger air filter in there, we can tell the car that it can suck in more air, but we also need to play with the fueling. To do this, we can increase the target fuel pressure. We now have more air, we now have more fuel, and we now have a free-flowing exhaust, so the exhaust gases can flow smoothly through the system. Now Joe did explain to me about variable valve timing, ignition timing, and other things that you can do, but we're just going to keep it simple for this and go with that. So we're now ready for the second power run with the first stage 2 map on it. Let's see it.
246.
246 at the top.
And 246 foot-pound as well.
Hey. It's a nice steady increase though, isn't it? Especially considering it was underpowered before.
Yeah, for sure. The green line's your new torque curve.
Yeah.
And the blue line was how it came in stock. So you got a lot more volume under the curves. That is what you're going to notice on the road, for sure.
Now I'm going to have to come clean here, guys. This car's actually only running 97 RON fuel, and that's because I own one of these. Now, because it's my car, I'd rather take the slight hit in performance than take the massive hit in the wallet from filling this up with 99 all the time. So sorry, it's not quite that 270 mark we predicted. Then Joe went back and increased the fuel pressure a little bit more, which didn't agree with the car at all and gave us 228. So we took it back to safe levels and mapped the gearbox.
Faster or not? And the most torque. A lot more torque. I knew it was the gearbox holding us back.
Ah, look at that.
The green one is the stage 2 base. And then the pink line is the final power, which is now left with. So when you look at the difference in torque from the final run to the stop run, say at this point here, 3,800 RPM-ish, 270 foot-pounds there, and then before it was 195-ish, so you gained 75 foot-pound increase, and you definitely gonna notice that.
So now that the DSG box is mapped, the car is mapped, the last thing to do is get it off and take it for a road test. So let's hop in the car and let's do it. And so this is the first time I've driven it since Joe's doing his tuning. He's just given it a quick round the block, whipped round the block, and he says it's all okay. So without further ado, let's get it off the end of the road and let's see. I know you can't really tell very well from a video on how much it throws you back in your seat, but we are in manual shift mode, pulling out. Holy shit! Guys, I literally have no words. That is absolutely insane in comparison to how it was before. Wow, holy moly, it's just on. It's there. I have no words. I have no words. We'll go for a quick turnaround and we'll try it in sport mode now. Let's bang it down into drive and then sport. Okay, let's go. Oh, fucking hell. Oh. Oh my god. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera, but it sounds it sounds absolutely insane. I'm part of my French, but that is. And so guys, to be honest, that brings us to the end of today's video. It's an absolute weapon. The car is completely transformed, and I can't thank Joe and the other lads at JBM enough for the work that they've done on it. The engine is remapped to running about 250 brake horsepower and what was it, about 280 foot-pounds of torque. The DSG box has been mapped so it shifts like an absolute monster. It sounds fucking incredible and it just feels like a completely different car. So there is more Mark 5 content to come. There's bits to do to the interior, there's other bits and bobs that I want to get on with. So if you like the content, go have a look at Joe, get booked in with him. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I suppose I'm going to go and enjoy this now, and I'll see you in the next one. So yeah, peace and thanks for tuning in.